A blessed day, everyone. Welcome once again to our new lesson. This will be the continuation of our previous lesson. So we stop with our DHCP setup before. Now we will be adding HTTP and DNS server here. Okay, so let us proceed and go to our packet tracer. So here, this is the previous design that we've made from our previous lesson. And by the way, I'm using packet tracer version 7 here, so you may use a lower version. Okay, so just a recap about this one. We made here a DHCP server so that these two computers will be given an automatic IP address coming from this DHCP server. So the IP address will be given here from the DHCP server. So let us check that and let us just view here. So we have previously the automatic IP address. So let us change from static so we don't have IP address here, and we will request our new IP address from our DHCP server here. Okay, so we're going to click this one. Okay, so let us click our DHCP and it will generate an automatic IP address here like this one. So from our DHCP, we are now given 192.168.10.21 here from our DHCP. Okay, so let us close this one and let us check this one and go to desktop and IP configuration. So we change this from static so that it will remove the original setup of IP address. Now we don't have the settings here, and we will again request an automatic IP address here from our DHCP. So let's do that. Okay, and it will generate here. So now the given address here is 192.168.10.22. That is from our DHCP server. So, and that's the purpose of our setup here, DHCP. Okay, so now we can add another networks, and we will be adding HTTP server and DNS server with this network. Okay, so let us add a device. First, we will be adding a switch. Okay, 2960 switch and another switch. Okay, let us add another switch here, and next we will be adding a server. So this will be our server, HTTP server. Later we're going to edit that, and another server, and this will be our DNS server later. And we add a PC here. Okay, let us place that, and here now we add another PC here. Okay, and we make our connection now. So we're going to click our cable, and same goes with other connection. We will be using straight through connection. Okay, so click straight through cable and click your router and click gigabit Ethernet 0/1 and connect it to your switch 2, and click gigabit Ethernet 0/1. Okay, then click again the straight through cable to connect your switch and your server. So select gigabit Ethernet 0/2 and connect it to your server, fast Ethernet 0. Okay, then click again your straight through cable, connect it to your switch, and click fast Ethernet 0/1 and connect it to your computer, fast Ethernet 0. Okay, then make a connection from your network tree. So click your router and click gigabit Ethernet 0/2 and connect it to your gigabit 0/1 switch. Okay, and connect your server. So click your switch, click gigabit or a fast Ethernet 0/1 and connect it to your server. Okay, then again another straight through cable, connect it to your switch, click fast Ethernet 0/2 and connect it to your computer and click fast Ethernet 0. Okay, so next we're going to configure now our router here. Okay, so first we need to configure our router to have a connection here from router to switch 1 and router to switch 2 to make this connection a running connection as green connection. Okay, so this is in red, so there's no communication yet. So let's proceed. Now to do that, double click your just click your router and click CLI or command line interface and okay, enter, click enter, then you will have your R1. We able to configure that before. The reason why we are having this R1 host name. Okay, so we type here enable, we type N or press tab to continue and auto complete for tab, and that is enabled. Press enter and you type now configuration conf p. So you press tab to complete the command, and that is for configuration terminal. Okay, then press enter. So for you to enter in global configuration. Now here we're going to select which interface we're going to configure first. So here we're going to configure this first. Okay, this gigabit 0/1. By the way, we need to make this as another network by placing a shape and color. So we select this circle, then fill color and select, and maybe this would be a green color of network for network 2. This will be our network. So let us select this one. Okay, and this one we make this as what color, maybe red or violet, this one. Okay, so then let us make this a network 3. Okay, then let us label that here. So let this be network 2. So network 2, then the IP address that we will be placing here is 192.168 dot, this will be, for me, my assignment is 20.0/24. Okay, and so let us label this one here as network 3, and the IP address assignment for that network is 192.168.30.0/24. So we have here a network of 10. So that 10, this is that 20, and this is that 30. Okay, here. Then we can now go to our command line, and we're going to configure the interface here. So our interface here is a gig 0/1, as you can see that. Okay, so go to the command line and type int g for, and press tab to complete the command. That is in interface gigabit ethernet, and that interface is 0/1. So we're going to configure the interface 0/1. Then press enter, and we're going to type its IP address, and that is 192.168. Since this is the 20.20 network, so we're going to type 20.1. So that 20.1 will be our gateway address, and the subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and press enter, and you had now your IP address and subnet mask gateway. Okay, then you type no shutdown there, and exit. Let us go to exit, and Control C to entirely exit in that configuration. And here type copy, run, and press tab to complete, and also press copy running config, then startup config. So again, that is the complete command to save all the configuration in that interface. Then press enter, and press enter again. Now the configuration has now been saved. Then so let us go to this interface. So the interface here is there. So that is gig 0/2. This interface is gig 0/2. Then we go to our command, and we type again enable, and conf t to go to the configuration terminal, and press enter to go to the global configuration. And now we type here the interface interface G for gigabit, and press tab to complete, and we are now in, and we're just going to type this gig interface 0/2. So we are now going to press enter, and we're in with that interface. And here we're going to type the IP address to place our gateway, and we will be typing 192.168. In this network, we're going to type 30 for this network, 30.1, and that will be our gateway. And type subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and press enter and type no shut down. Press enter again and type exit and control Z to exit entirely, and let us save and copy that running configuration and startup configuration. Okay, so I'm just pressing tab to complete the commands, and now once completed, press enter and press enter. Now your configuration for the interface 0/2 has now been saved. So as you can see, with that configuration, we able to make this connection a green one, which means we already connected with our router and switch. Okay, the switch and the router are already connected. Okay, so we can now configure. Here we change this. This will be our HTTP server, and this one, let us make this our DNS server. Okay, so then let us configure our HTTP server, and let us place an IP address for that. So static, we're going to place a static IP address for our server, HTTP server. So we're going to type according to its network. This network is .20.0. So we're going to use 192.168.20. So, and we will be using the last address for our network, which is 254 for the server, HTTP server. So our address here is 192.168.20.254 for our server, and that is our DNS. And our default gateway, we're going to just copy and 1. So the same with our configuration in our router. The gateway would be 192.168.20.1, and we will be placing our DNS server later after we configure our DNS server here. Okay, so let us just save that and close. We go to our server. Okay, so this is now our DNS server, and click desktop and click IP configuration, and we're going to follow the network here 30.0. So we're going to change this to 30. And we will be using again the last address for DNS server, which is 254, and press, and we have our subnet mask, and our default gateway will be changed as 30.1 according to our network 30.0, and our DNS server address would be the same with its IP address. Okay, because that is our DNS server. Okay, so then we're going to copy this and close, and we're going to copy that in our HTTP here, so that our HTTP will know that the IP address of our DNS server, which is that 30.254, and close. And also here we're going to save that in our DNS or DHCP server, paste, and all of the servers know now the DNS server. Okay, so we can now try to access and get for our desktop an automatic IP address from our DHCP. So our computer here will be requesting an automatic IP address from our DHCP server. So let us try that. So here, and click IP config, and since we are in static, we're going to click DHCP and it will generate. Okay, so here, but we were not able to get the correct IP address because we have DHCP failed and we are given the APIPA, automatic IP address, is being used because we were not able to reach our DHCP server. So this is just a temporary or automatic IP address given by the computer. Okay, so to solve that, let us go to our router here and let us solve that network here. So we're going to connect here to the interface of this one, and let us go back to our command and click again enable and configuration terminal, then press enter and go to the interface interface gig, and we're in. And what interface is that? That is, we're going to configure this one, gig 01, gig 01. So we place 0/1 and press enter, then we are now in, and we're going to type IP helper and press enter, and that is the complete command is IP helper address, and we're going to type the IP address of our DNS. So 192.168.10.254. So this is our assigned IP address for our DHCP here. Okay, so that the computer here can request IP address, an automatic IP address from our server through the use of our IP helper address. Okay, the reason why we type this 192.168.10.254, which is the address of our DHCP here. Okay, so let us press enter. Okay, then let us type exit, and control Z to exit entirely, and let us copy that configuration, running config, press tab to complete the command, and press start up to complete the startup config. And once completed, the command is completed, press enter and press enter. Now we able to save our configuration for our interface 0/1. Now we're going to connect to interface 0/2. So we're going to enter to that interface here, and this interface is the next configuration that we're going to check. So type enable and type conf T for configuration terminal and press enter to enter the global configuration, and go to the interface gigabit, press tab, and we're in with the interface of gigabit ethernet, and we're just going to check the exact interface 0/2. Okay, so we're going to type that 0/2 and press enter. Then we're going to type IP helper, then tab to complete the IP helper address, and we're going to type the IP address of our DHCP, which is 192.168.10.254. So once known by this interface, there will be a successful connection later. So press enter and exit, and Control Z to exit entirely, and copy the running configuration, add startup configuration. So copy running config, startup config, press enter and press enter. Then the configuration for that 0/2 interface has now been saved. Okay, so let us close this one and let us check if our computer here could now request its IP address to our server. So let us click our computer, then click the IP address. So click static first, then it will be empty, and go back to click DHCP to generate the IP address. Okay, so there's a problem still. There's still DHCP because we were not able to add this network to our DHCP. Okay, so we're going to add first that network to our services here. Click DHCP and we add network 2. Going to add network 2, and the default gateway for that network is 20. That one. So because this network is 20, okay, so I type here 20, and the DNS server is 30. If you can still remember, 30.254. And since we follow here the network 20 here, and we're going to make the start IP address for the network 20, and it will start with 20. Okay, and the maximum number of users also is 100, and we're going to click add, not save. Okay, click add to add new network, to add this network 2. And as you can see, I have added a second network of network 2. Okay, so for this green network, and I'm going to add the violet network, or the network 3. So I'm just going to change network 3, and this network is 30, right? So I'm going to type 30.1 for the default gateway of this network, and the DNS is correct, 30.254, and we follow the network 30, and the start address is also 20, and also the maximum number of address or users is also 100, and click add if you're done. So I'm going to click add, and here we have 3 networks. Okay, so we're going to add also a DNS server in our DHCP here. So we add that. So as you can see, we have already 3 networks. So 1, 2, 3 networks, and we're just going to configure our click this DHCP server. So click DHCP server. So now we are in our DHCP server here. Then the services, yeah, we are already into that, and we're going to edit server. Yes, we're going to type here our, we copy paste our DNS server, which is .30.254. So that is our address for the DNS. So then click save. So since you just edit that, click save, and it will be placed here. So here we have a complete setup of our DNS server, similar IP address, and we able to communicate the 10 network, the 20 network for network 2, and the network 3 for as 30.30. And here is the start IP address and the subnet mask and the maximum users for all the networks. Okay, so we're going to close our, we're going to let us close and just click the DHCP server and go to desktop just to show you that I'm going to the IP configuration, and there we already place the IP address. I thought that we were not able to place the DNS server, so we're done, we're good. Okay, so we can now request here. So just this computer and click the IP address and click static first to empty, and go to DHCP and let us check if it will generate the IP address there. So still we were not able to connect, and let us troubleshoot that. So to troubleshoot this, we're going to reconfigure our router here, and we click our router and we type exit first there. So we start with enable, and we type conf t to enter to the configuration terminal and press enter to go to the global configuration. So once in, you type the interface that you want to configure, and we're going to go to this interface, and this interface is 0/1, later 0/2. We're going to configure 0/2. Okay, but first we are going to go to the interface gigabit of 0/1. Press enter, and we're going to configure it again, as we're going to type IP address of 192.168.20.1 and 255.255.255.0. Press enter, and also type the IP helper, and IP helper address, specify the DHCP address, which is 192.168.10.254. Okay, then press enter, and we forgot this type no shutdown, so this is important, no shutdown. Press enter, and we type exit and Control C, and we type copy running config startup config and press enter, and we're done. Okay, so let us try first if we now able to get the IP address. Okay, so let us empty first and go to static. Let us check if yes. So we have now our IP address generated by our DHCP 192.168.20.20 from this network 20 and starting address of 20. So we have here a DHCP request successful because of our reconfiguration. Okay, so let us do that here. So here we're going to configure that. Let us check if this will have an error. So DHCP there. So we able now to uh, configure this all for all. Okay, so here the network 30 has been given the 20 address, and that is DHCP request successful. Okay, so this computers PC3 able to request IP from our DHCP server. Also this PC2 able to request IP address from our DHCP server. Now we're going to configure our HTTP server since we are sure that we have a successful connection now. So to do that, just click the HTTP server and click the services. So here, click the services here and go to HTTP. So once here, so it by default it is in on configuration, so it is already on, and we're just going to edit. So if we're going to check our DHCP like this one or the HTTP, so we type the address of our HTTP is 192.168.20.254, and once we press enter, this is the site. Okay, and the content, Cisco Packet Tracer, and welcome to Cisco Packet Tracer, opening doors to new opportunities, mind wide open. So we're going to change this content by going to the services HTTP and go to the index here and click edit. So once here, go to Cisco Packet Tracer here, and we're going to change this as my site, my YouTube site, eeguerr learning channel. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this, and welcome to, okay, I'm going to change this, so just type 2, welcome to eeguerr learning channel. Let us edit also this one. Creativity beyond borders. Okay, so let us delete all, and that will be my content. Okay, so let us click save, and there is already a file with the same name. Override, yes, and let us check to our desktop. Let us change this to 0. That's 0 just to remove the content. Okay, we don't have the content now, and let us type 192.168 our HTTP server, which is that 20.254 and press enter there. So we're able to change the content, eager learning channel, and welcome to eager learning channel, creativity beyond borders. Okay, so we able to set up our HTTP server. Okay, it can now broadcast the content with to all these networks here. Okay, but we need to set up our DHCP server. So we are now in our DNS server rather. So we're going to set up that. So to do that, go to services, and go to your DNS server. So now we're going to type here in our DNS server 192.168.20.254 for the address of our HTTP server, and it will be linked with a domain name. Okay, so we're going to name our HTTP as eeguerr.learning.com. So that's the use of our DNS server or service. The IP address assigned to HTTP, which is 192.168.20.254, will now have a domain name of eagerlearning.com. So these two will be linked together. It's either you type this and you type eager learning, it will give the same content, and you press on and click add and it will be added here. Okay, and let us check. So let us check first to our computer here and click our web browser to do that, and let us type, instead of IP address, we type the domain name of eagerlearning.com and press enter there. So the content or the website has been displayed here. So let us close that. Let us try that in this computer if we can open the eager learning site. So instead of the IP address, we have now our domain name of eagerlearning.com and press enter, and there our website. So and let us try it here, like for example this computer, and click the web browser, and let us also type eagerlearning.com and press enter there. So the content of the HTTP server has been displayed here. So meaning all of these computers may access our HTTP server, and the domain name has been given by our DNS server. Okay, so now let us try to communicate here, and let us simulate later, and let us first click this simulation. Okay, so that we can check that, and let us open this one. Let us delete the content first, and let us open again, and let us type eagerlearning.com. So we will do that communication step by step, and we click go, and the simulation now has been processed here. Okay, then here the packet here is in this computer, and to send that, we're going to show that by clicking this one, the next forward, then capture forward, and it will broadcast that packets, and it will send it back to the sender, and next forward, and it will communicate with our server since we are accessing eager learning. So here, this computer is now inquiring the eager learning site or address. Okay, so let us continue by clicking this one, and it will go back to the source of inquiry, and this computer now knows that where is our server. So if we're going to click this packet, so here 192.168.30.254 is our DNS, and from our destination IP, which is this one, is .22. Okay, and it will now be go to let us check our inbound. So this is the content, destination, and source of our packet, and let us close, and let us continue the capturing or forward of packets. Okay, it will be forwarded to DHCP. Okay, then the HTTP will acknowledge the inquiry and go back to the sender. Okay, there, and let us check. So our site here is not yet loaded, so let us have that here so that we can check there, so that we can check once it has been loaded. So let us click forward again. Let us just make this big, so it will now communicate going to our HTTP server, and there, now the HTTP server will send its content, which is eager learning. So once sent here, so our display here will be, so let us show that here, and let us, there, it will be displayed here. Okay, so let us click the last step, and there, as you can see, the content of the HTTP server has now been shown here because the inquiry has been successful. Okay, and the communication has been successful. Okay, so that's our DHCP, HTTP, and DNS server configuration using Packet Tracer. So that's the simulation, the step-by-step simulation. So we're done again, and I hope you learned so much from this Packet Tracer tutorial, and thank you so much, and God bless. See you in our next lesson.